All right, thank you guys. Welcome to our college basketball video here today for Monday, March 22nd. If you end up really enjoying today's video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up by smashing that like button. If you haven't done so already, please feel free to hit that subscribe button as well. I greatly appreciate it. With that, guys, we're going to dive into some March Madness action here. We're going to start with Oklahoma versus Gonzaga, 2:40 Eastern tip-off in the second round. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are the 14-point favorite. Total's 154.5. And if you like the Sooners in a big-time upset, they're plus 725 on the money line. Now, we've won 2 out of our last 3 college basketball tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also a staggering 23-4 in our last 27 extra daily pick tier package plays on that Patreon page as well. Good for 85% in that category. Now, we're fastly approaching 1,400 members currently signed up and active on that page. And if you want to join those folks and get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. Once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Sooners' second leading scorer, Davion Harmon, he's in COVID protocol right now. He's responsible for nearly 13 points a game, along with 3 rebounds and a couple of assists. The Sooners have lost 3 out of their last 7. Actually, he was in COVID protocol. I'm not sure if he's out of it yet. Some places say he's out. Other places say he's back today. I'm not sure. But anyway, the Sooners have lost 5 out of their last 7 contests, and they successfully covered the number in only 2 out of their last 10. The Sooners have also got themselves a losing record away from their home court this season, and they went just 5-8 against the number in those 13 games. Oklahoma allows nearly 74 points per contest when they travel, and they're making only 30% of their three-pointers in that same category. That's why I'm really not concerned whether Harmon plays or not, just because of those factors. And they're squaring off against a Gonzaga team who leads the country in scoring, leads the country in offensive field goal percentage. The Bulldogs are scoring over 92 points per contest, and they're making nearly 56% of their field goals. They're also in the top 20 in the nation in defensive rebounding. Corey Kispert is scoring almost 20 points a game along with 4 rebounds. He's also drilling 90% of his free throws as well, and he's hitting 46% of his three-pointers. Meanwhile, Drew Timme is scoring over 18 points per night, along with 7 boards and a couple assists. Gonzaga has gone 6-3 against the number in their last 9 contests. Every one of those games were double-digit point spreads, so this is something they're certainly used to. Now, total-wise, the Bulldogs saw 6 out of their last 8 get over the line, 5-3 to the over in their neutral site contests. Meanwhile, Oklahoma's 4-2 to the over in their last 6 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Gonzaga Bulldogs minus 14 in the over 154.5. Next ball game, it is going to be Abilene Christian versus UCLA, 5:15 start time. The UCLA Bruins are the 5-point favorite. Total's 133 flat. Now, UCLA came into this tournament ice cold, loses a 4 straight coming into the tourney. Having said that, though, the Bruins have had monster games in the tourney thus far. 86 points they put up on Michigan State. Double-digit victory over a very strong BYU squad. The Bruins allowed just 68 points per contest, and they rank in the top 30 in defensive rebounding. Johnny Juzang is scoring 15 points a game along with 4 rebounds. The 6'6 guard is also drilling 91% of his free throws. Meanwhile, Jaime Jaquez is averaging over a dozen a night himself, along with 6 boards. Jaquez is also making nearly 42% of his three-pointers. They're taking on an Abilene Christian team who certainly caught Texas with their pants down a few days ago. Having said that, though, the Wildcats score just 69 points a game away from their home court, and they make only 33% of their three-pointers in that same category. You certainly don't want to get in a track meet with Gonzaga. It could end poorly for you. Now, total-wise, Abilene went 7-3 to the over in their last, not Gonzaga, UCLA. Anyway, 14-9 to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, 5 out of UCLA's last 8 got over the line themselves. I don't know why I was thinking of Gonzaga there. I'm going to lead toward the UCLA Bruins minus 5 and the over 133. Next game, Ohio, Creighton, 6:10 Eastern tip. The Creighton Blue Jays are the 5-point favorite. Totals 148.5. Creighton's failed to cover the number in their last 2 straight. Just 3 and 4 against the spread in their last 7. The Blue Jays also successfully covered the number in just 6 out of 15 contests away from their home court. They're taking on an Ohio squad who won their last 4 straight themselves, 10 and 1 straight up in their last 11. Now, the Bobcats are a perfect 6 and 0 straight up in their neutral site contest, 5 and 1 against the spread in those very neutral site outings. Ohio scores over 80 points per contest, and they make 49% of their field goals. Jason Preston is averaging over 16 points per contest, 7 rebounds, 7 assists for the 6'4 guard. Dwight Wilson III is also averaging over 14 points per contest himself, along with 7.5 rebounds for the 6'8 senior. Ohio's in the top 25 in the nation in scoring, top 20 in offensive field goal percentage. Now, total-wise, Ohio's 13 and 10 to the over for the entire season. Meanwhile, Creighton saw contests with Butler, Xavier, and Villanova get over the line recently as well. I'm going to lean toward the Ohio Bobcats plus 5 and the over 148.5. Next matchup, LSU, Michigan, 7:10 Eastern start. The Michigan Wolverines are the 5-point favorite. Totals 148 juice to the under. And if you like the Tigers of LSU in a big-time upset on the money line, they're plus $1.75 for some money line cash. Now, the Tigers have successfully covered the point spread in their last 6 straight, 4 months straight up in their 5 neutral site contests. LSU's in the top 10 in scoring, top 20 in defending the 3 ball. Cameron Thomas is averaging over 22.5 points per contest, along with 3 rebounds. Meanwhile, Trendon Watford scoring 16.5 points a game himself, 7 boards and 3 rebounds for the 6'9 sophomore as well. LSU holds their opponents to just 29% shooting from beyond the arc. They also average 82 points a game on the offensive end of the court. They're taking on a Michigan squad who, like I said in earlier podcasts this week, they're going to work without their second leading scorer in Isaiah Livers. The Wolverines have also failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 ball games. Now, total-wise, 2 out of Michigan's last 3 contests got over the number. LSU went 5 and 4 to the over in their last 9. The Tigers are also 10 and 5 to the over in their 15 games away from home. I'm going to lean toward the LSU Tigers plus 5 and the over 148. Next matchup, it is going to be Colorado versus Florida State, 7:45 Eastern tip-off. The Florida State Seminoles are minus 1.5, totals 141. Now, the Noles have failed to cover in their last 4 straight, just 30% against the number in their last 10. Florida State allows 70 points per contest, and they failed to cover the number in all 3 of their neutral site games. They're taking on a Colorado team who leads the NCAA in free throw percentage. They're drilling over 82% of their free throws as a team. The Buffaloes are also in the top 30 in shooting the 3 ball, and they average 74 points per contest. McKinley Wright IV, he scores over 15 points per contest, along with 4 rebounds and 5 assists. Jariah Horn is also averaging nearly a dozen a game himself, 5 rebounds, 91% shooting from the foul line. Colorado's in the top 25 in defensive rebounding, and they give up just 63 points per contest. Now, total-wise, Colorado went 60% to the under in their last 10 ball games, 18 and 13 to the under for the entire season. Meanwhile, Florida State saw 2 out of their last 3 stay under the number themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Colorado Buffaloes, plus 1.5, and the under 141. Next game, it is going to be Maryland versus Alabama, 8:45 Eastern start time. The Alabama Crimson Tide is minus 6, totals 138.5. Bama's on a 7-game winning streak, 10-1 straight up in their last 11. Jaden Shackelford scoring over 14 points a game for the Tide, 3 rebounds, 2 assists for the sophomore guard. Meanwhile, Javon Quinterly is scoring over 12.5 points a night himself, along with 2 rebounds and a couple assists. Crimson Tide's gone 6 and 2 straight up in neutral site contests, 7 and 3 straight up in their road games. They're also in the top 10 in the nation in offensive rebounding. And they hold their opponents to just 28% shooting from downtown. Now, Maryland on the other side, they have a losing record away from home this year. They're scoring just 61 points per contest when they travel, and they've been victorious in just 5 of 15 contests as the official underdog. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Alabama Crimson Tide -6 and the over 138.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup of the show. It is going to be USC versus Kansas, 9:40 Eastern tip. The USC Trojans are the 1-point favorite, numbers 135. But the Trojans have failed to cover in 6 out of their last 9. Just 30% from downtown. They're shooting away from their home court. They're squaring off against a very good Kansas program who's won 9 out of their last 10. And they hold their opponents to just 40% shooting from the field. Ochai Agbaji is averaging over 14 points per contest, along with 3 rebounds for the Jayhawks. Meanwhile, David McCormack is dropping over 13.5 a game himself, along with 6 rebounds. The Jayhawks give up just 66 points per contest, very stout defensively. And when it comes to the total in this one, Kansas did see games with Eastern Washington, Texas, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State get over the posted total recently. Meanwhile, USC saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the line themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Kansas Jayhawks +1 and the over 135. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Gonzaga -14 over 154.5. UCLA -5 over 133. Ohio Bobcats +5 over 148 and a hook. LSU +5 over 148. Colorado Buffaloes +1.5 under 141. Alabama Crimson Tide -6 over 138 and a hook. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we've won 2 out of our last 3 college basketball tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also 23-4 in our last 27 extra daily picks on that very same Patreon page. I'm going to lean toward the Kansas Jayhawks +1 and the over 135. Now, one final reminder here, guys, all the content on my YouTube channel is for entertainment purposes only. I don't make any guarantees of any kind. And with that, guys, that is going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today, just keep in mind we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.